Let's talk about organization at the paragraph level and the sentence level. Okay. Paragraphs should be fairly short, particularly when we're writing a legal document that, like a motion that's going to go before the court. Long paragraphs look bad and they're tedious. They're just hard to read. Okay, so my advice to you is a paragraph should be between 3 and 6 sentences. That's it, because nothing is more tedious than reading a legal brief and having an entire page with no paragraphs to break it up. Judges, they just get tired reading stuff like that, and so do I. So short paragraphs, 3 to 6 sentences per paragraph, generally. At the sentence level, we want to use a simple sentence structure: subject, verb, object. Okay, we don't want to use what's called passive voice. Okay, let me give you an example of that. The dog bit the cat. Subject, dog. Verb, bit. Object, cat. Okay, now let me give you an example of passive voice. The cat was bitten by the dog. Okay, the actor, the dog, is at the end of the sentence. Okay, now in really sophisticated legal research and writing, when I am dealing with the other side's facts and the other side's legal arguments, I will actually, particularly when the law is bad in my favor, I will actually intentionally use passive voice when I'm dealing with the other side's argument. But that's on another level. Okay, but normally we want an active voice. We want the actor, we want what they're doing, the verb, and the object of whatever that action is. Keep it simple. I am not going to judge you in terms of grading your papers on how sophisticated your language is, or how sophisticated your sentence structure is. What I want to see is good organization and clear communication. Let's talk a little bit about mechanical errors. Okay. The typical mechanical errors, and I'll just go directly with what they talk about in the book here. The first one is quoting from a case note or a syllabus. Okay, for those of you who haven't taken legal research or legal research, a syllabus, if you look at a case, if you went down to the law library, there'll be a summary at the beginning of the case. Okay, this is not prepared by the court. This is prepared by the publisher of the case book. Okay, so it'll kind of tell you in a paragraph or two what the case is about and what the court decided. You can never quote from that. You have to quote from the actual body of the opinion. Okay, after the syllabus in the case, there will be things called head notes. Head notes are what we call summaries of particular issues that were decided in the case. Okay, so they're almost like little mini rules of law. Okay, you cannot quote from a head note either. You must quote from the body of the opinion. Now, the head notes will tell you exactly where they are in the opinion. Okay, and maybe if I have time later, I'll show you how to read a case when we get a little deeper into the class. But for now, remember, the syllabus and the head notes are not the law. They are summaries of the law prepared by the publisher of the book. So never quote from them. The next mechanical error they talk about, I don't think it's really a mechanical error, but it's something you need to be aware of, is not using plain English. Okay, avoid what we call legalese or legal terminology. Okay, also avoid words that seem excessive or kind of cute. Okay, if I'm talking about a cat, I'm not going to use feline. Okay, I'm going to say cat. Okay, if I'm talking about a car, I might use automobile, or but I'll probably just say car. Okay. Another thing, this is a little bit farther down. Avoid elegant variation, which means, you know, if we start with one word, keep with that word. Okay. If we start with cat, stay with cat. It looks a little odd, but it makes more sense and it's easier for people to understand what we're talking about. So if we're talking about cat, don't use feline or Persian or whatever don't just change the word. Start with one word for the concept and keep it consistent throughout the legal document. One of the common errors that beginning legal writers make is not giving a page reference to things they quote. If you quote exactly from a case, there's a thing we call citation. And citation, there's a particular form in which you have to refer to. And if you've done, just term papers and things like that, you know how to reference your sources and cite your sources. There's a particular way to do that in legal research and writing. Okay, and I don't have time to go into that right now, but if you do quote from a case, you must quote exactly, and you must provide a page number for that quote in a particular form. Okay, so also remember that citation is an important part of legal writing. And the reason citation is important is because then a judge or another attorney can go look and find that particular citation, pull that particular statute or law, pull that particular case, and go right to that particular page and read what you have referenced and decide for themselves whether it's correct or not. The book also cautions you about using contractions. Personally, I don't really have much of a problem with contractions, because my theme in this class is going to be shorter is better. Okay, just don't use ain't. But if you want to use can't, that's fine. The other thing they caution about is don't use the word I. Okay, there's no reason in there to use the word I with a couple of exceptions. If we're creating a declaration, which is a signed statement under penalty of perjury, that's kind of in somebody else's own words. So we're kind of writing out their words. For example, for a restraining order, okay, or something like any kind of motion we're going to see needs facts, and we usually contain those facts in what we call a declaration. Okay, it's okay to use I. Okay, or in a legal research memo, if it comes to a point where at the end of the memo, you need to say, I looked at all of the potential sources and I couldn't find anything on point. Okay, you can use I. Don't think you can never use it, but it's fairly rare that we would use the word I in most legal. That's the end of the lecture for Chapter 6. It was fairly short, lucky for you. You don't have to listen to me any longer. I will post the video lecture for Chapter 7 this weekend. That's the end of the lecture for Chapter 10. If you have any particular questions, post them in the virtual office. I'll be happy to respond to them. You all have a nice day.